Wake that ass up
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest on the phone line right now, Michael Arceneaux. Welcome, sir.
Thank y'all for having me in a pandemic.
Happy belated.
We're trying
Happy
to make it
belated.
happen, man.
Happy belated born
Thank you,
day
I
too,
appreciate
Michael.
I appreciate that. Shout out to Mariah Carey. It was also her emancipation anniversary. Oh, and
I didn't know you were such a. I didn't realize you were such a big Mariah Carey fan until the last couple of
He's
days.
a lamb.
I really had no idea.
Yes, Beyonce is my censor, but like Beyonce, I'm a lamb.
So how
Oh, you still
how
got
you-
your,
Okay.
you still
how
got
have you
your
been
resting
holding it
bitch
down
face,
during
I
this
see.
pandemic?
Pandemic.
I think it's a pandemic. What the fuck
said,
is it?
how
Hold
have
wait a
you
minute,
been holding
Michael.
it down?
Michael, before you move on, I need to know what the fuck is a pandemic, and I need to know right now. What is a
It's a
pandemic?
paradigm. It's a paradigm and a pandemic mixed together.
Jesus Christ.
You the asshole, man. You, Charlamagne.
Because
So we're
now
asking-
time is about compassion. I usually let people make it. I would say releasing a book in a pandemic ain't the move, but there are bigger things to complain about. Yes, please buy it. If you got it.
Die poor.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it just depends on the day. Like this morning, I was smoking weed, listening to Karen Clark Sheard. Am I even saved like that? Not really, but I needed it.
You saw
So,
the
Michael, you know how
Lifetime
to-
movie. That's
Yes, I did. Yup, I saw the Lifetime movie, and I was like, "There's a bomb in Gilead, and I need it."
So you know how to roll up now?
No, I don't know how to roll. I have cones. I have cones and a grinder, and I scoop that shit in there, and I can do that. I'm very proud of me.
That's the simple way to do it. That's the way I do it too. Just put it loaded right in. It's like preload already.
This would be a
Ready,
good
rock, and
time for you to learn on YouTube. I'm sure they got some instructional videos on how to roll
I
up.
have seen those and failed. It's exactly why I bought an Instapot, and I ain't used that shit since I bought it in the fall because I'm still scared of it. So it just sits right there. I'm gonna use the cones though.
what is it?
Now the timing for
The Instapot is that I don't know how to call that thing. It's
What
not
are
a
you looking
crock
up
pot.
at? Show us. Can you?
The pressure
show us?
cooker.
he has it right there. It's on the ceiling.
Oh.
You gonna go get
I
my
wanna see what it is
Instapot?
now. What the hell?
My
is
apartment is my apartment is small, so I can go get it. Hold on.
I like this background setting we have here. The Anita Baker
It's the-
album.
Yes, we always honor our legends. So this thing, I'm
Oh, a
afraid
crock
of
pot. A crock pot.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's a pressure
Okay.
cooker. I'm not messing with that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Angela, about the book versus me not being able to cook right?
Now, I was saying this is a perfect time for I Don't Want to Die Poor to come out because right now a lot of us are thinking about things like, your student loan debt is something that is
Yes.
talked about in this book because that's a crippling thing for so many people.
Yeah, I am the book is timely, but it was timely before this, which is why this is so much more painful for everybody else. Like, I write about student loan debt, but I also write about how hard it is to have access to health insurance. Like, honestly, the uncle that I referenced in the title chapter, he died in the fall. He had cancer, but my uncle didn't have insurance, and that killed him more than anything else. And the fact that I'm in Harlem right now, New York Times bestseller and all, I mentioned I made the list the same week, but lost my health insurance. And I have it back now, but it ain't great. So if I caught the coronavirus right now, I am just susceptible as death to anybody else. So I try to, admit about struggle, but in a way that is, I make fun of myself. I'm really honest about what it is, but it is hope. Like I'm kind of turned into Iyanla in a way, I think. I'm trying to be Zen beloved. This is my way of being Zen, making peace with stuff I can't make with peace. Making
Dearly
peace
beloved.
with choices. Yes, dearly beloved. But it's just like accepting the fact that I did the best I could when I took out those loans to go to college. I don't come from like rich people. Even having access to middle-class Black people was some shit I didn't think existed until I went to Howard. I thought they were like TV Black folk. So a lot of us, particularly Black college graduates, have private student loans, which is a smaller portion of the debt, but it's disproportionately impacting us because we don't have the means and the schools don't have as much resources. So I've been paying over like $1,000 a month in loans for a really long time, and that's impacted every facet of my life. And so a lot of people right now, I just know, are struggling and they're afraid. And this book is not going to help you get rich. I don't pretend that it will, but I do think it'll help you feel heard, allow you to forgive yourself if you feel like you need to be forgiven in a way, because being broke it's like a ballad of a broke nigga, but it really is kind of just realizing like it's hard, and most of us just really want to have social mobility, and that's so much more easier to attain than we're sold.
Right.
So I hope this really helps people. I'll stop now, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You know, you mentioned Howard University, and we talk about colleges all the time. A lot of people sometimes feel that college is not a necessity anymore, that it's really an expense that doesn't necessarily pay off in a lot of professions. How do you feel about that? Because like you said, you started off in the hole.
I think that honestly depends on the person and what they want to do in life. And not necessarily what they want to do in life. Like, if you don't get to live your dream, what can you do for a living that pays you a livable wage, gives you a quality of life that you're accustomed to for your family, wherever you're with? And that might not require college. And we need to have that kind of conversation, because a lot of people can have bachelor's degrees and make so little money. When you look at the median income in this country, a lot of people aren't making money. And even people who you can make $100,000 be broke in this country because of the way debt is structured. I think more often than not, people think, I make this amount, therefore I'm okay. And this is a lot of really selfish kind of American mentality. But the reality is, more often than not, no matter how much you're making, you're probably being paid less than what you should be in this country, unless you're part of the people taking advantage. So I'm trying to really help people change like their attitude. I see people even still trying to stunt on Instagram in the pandemic.
Right.
And I'm like, I love my people, but I'm like, my guy, like.
Nothing matters right now, right?
And but you got to
You got the future going on. Michael, I'm going to tell you something. I think your book is kind of prophetic, right? Because you've been working on this for a while. And I mean, sadly, a book like this would be timely at any point in America. But I mean, at right now, in this moment, it's OD timely. So you got to kind of embrace that, right?
I'm embracing it. But, you know, honestly, last year, I hated writing this book because I would say I thought I would even be in a different position in life, and I wasn't. And I was reminded, like a lot of people are now, the fragility of our situations, and how sometimes no matter how hard we work, no matter how much we do, our fate isn't always in our control. Like, the reality is right now, a racist game show host is in control of a lot of our fate. So last year I had to make peace with a lot of people dying on me. Me not even wanting to live sometimes and struggle with my own depression, which is exacerbated by like financial woes. So I think I will say I'm really glad that I finished the book. I'm glad the book is out there. I know it's really hard for some people to get it. I will say I'm a paperback toy release, so I'm $12 most places. So I'm more affordable. But no, really, I think the message does resonate. And I think also you hear so much about millennials, but in the context of like, we're ruining the economy because we're not buying houses, or we let chain restaurants go down. I'm like, bitch, because we ain't got no money. That's why. So let's have that conversation. So yeah,
I also think it's knowledge too. I think it's knowledge too. I think the problem is like, you know, even looking at my parents, is they don't know how to invest. They never learned how to invest.
Right.
For myself, I have to figure it out on my own. And there's a lot of L's that I take. So I think we have to start teaching each other how to do things to make sure that we can survive. You look at a lot of my, you know, white friends, they've had money in their family for years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's one of the things they can pass down and teach, that like even the stocks and things like that. Like, you know, everybody's now talking about, like, look at stocks are down. This is the time to buy. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to figure it out on my own. I can't trust my financial advisor. There's no friends to call. So you just got to try to figure it out on your own.
I will say, if I am so fortunate to be in any of y'all tax brackets, I will ask y'all about that. Because right now I'm just like, please don't let sweet potato Saddam fuck this all the way up, because I'm about to pay off Visa and maybe one of these loans. But no, that's true. We don't know. Even with the loan thing, no one even told me about private loans. I could have went the government route, probably got forgiven, and not caused, to me, grief to my mom.
Michael, you talk about that. Talk about that in the book. You talk about how people will be like, well, why didn't you do this? And you're like, man, I was 17, 18 years old. I had no idea the difference in the kind of student loans that I was getting. And then you're thinking like, okay, you said one of the main things when you were feeling like, you know, ending everything and you can't take it anymore. I don't want my mom to have to pay my student loan debt. And that's a real thing, like to have to even think like that.
So the original essay that the book was in the New York Times, the title was originally about, I wouldn't kill myself because my mom would be on the hook. And that's the reality of like private loans, because like this 2003 bankruptcy bill that George Bush is responsible for, but Biden played a role in, and he must atone for. I see his language on student loan debt cancellation has changed, so that's good. But yeah, and even then, I will say this, as I mentioned in the book too. Let's say I didn't have any debt. Let's say I was one of them lucky Black folk. But that wouldn't have had to do with the fact that I'm still Black and racist. So even this book, with I Can't Date Jesus, which again, I am grateful that everybody supported. I got $15,000 for that. I'm grateful for what I got. And I was struggling. I was struggling to pay my rent. If not for people helping me, I might have got a New York Times bestseller and not had an apartment because I didn't want to default on my loans because of the responsibility I felt to my mother. Fortunately, I think I would have avoided such fate, but the fact that I even had to think about that doesn't react to the fact that if I were white, and again, I'm grateful to my publisher, I get it, but I know for a fact certain white people who either on paper, the same level as me, if not below, got more money than me based on the presumption that because they're white, they're more commercial. There's nothing I can ever change in my life about the fact that people think because I'm Black and gay, that people won't care as much. I have to deal with that burden every day, which is why I'm grateful to be in this space to talk about it. But no matter debt I have will count for the fact that like, I'm gonna be starting from behind on that front. Like I took that deal because I felt if I got I Can't Date Jesus out and people actually got to access it, it will do well. But I shouldn't have to bear that burden, and so should nobody else, because I can think of so many other people, and so could you. We shouldn't have to be dealing with that, and that's the conversation we should be having, not, why didn't you take out this loan at 17? So people are like, would you do anything different? Probably not, because I wouldn't be talking to you out here now.
Hold on, so you said, am I hearing this correct? You self-published the first book?
No. I didn't self-publish. No. Unfortunately, I had like a trip through Simon & Schuster. It's just, people think you get a book deal.
You got an advance. You got $15,000.
Yeah, you get a book deal, you get a whole bunch of money.
Who the hell negotiated your deal?
I don't know. I appreciate my agent. It's not that. I would say my agent went to bat for me. In fact, white gay guys, shout out to Jim, so responded to certain Black editors who said my book had been done.
Stop it, Charlamagne.
So,
Michael, I think your agent might have been kind of trash, bruh. I'll give you an example.
I put it like this. You're probably right, but the end goal is I've already out-earned. I get royalty checks. The book is being adapted. Right. Let's pray it gets made into series, but we on the way, and it'll work out for me in the end. And I saw a bigger picture. But either way, like I could have went through a different agent because I had been through that. But trust me, it took a really long time for people not named Steve Harvey that you were Black to get a book deal, unless you were famous.
I got a book deal.
He said unless you were famous.
Man. Yeah, give me a better advance if you want to holler. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, name a bunch of gay Black boys that have book deals, and I appreciate those that came before me. But like in recent years, that's probably why I didn't get a lot of money up front.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. D-Ray got a book deal, but D-Ray had a name in activism, so I get what you're saying. But $15,000 is still very, very low for a book.
No, I think I deserve more money too. But I'm getting advance checks now, and I'm doing better, and hopefully people will buy it. So I will continue to get paid what I think I deserve. But I think we need to have more of these conversations because that's actually more common than you think.
And Michael, just to your point, you also talked about reality television, right? And potentially being on a reality TV show and getting paid so little as a Black gay man compared to what other people were getting to be on reality TV because people feel like it doesn't have the market for something like that. So that kind of goes in line with your book deal.
I would have been probably like a bitchy version of Sheree, throwing things at people for like $1,500 and catching the case. It wasn't worth it. That said, I do reference a show on YouTube. It's called Chasing Atlanta, Chasing Dallas. Mm-hmm. They're so funny because so many people copy Black gay men on these shows, but they're not on any of these networks. I'm like, put them on Zeus or something, like, you know. Right. But you're right. Reality was not for me. I'm glad I didn't go down that path.
Now, Michael, how do you have a fresh line? How do you have a fresh lineup? Like you have a fresh lineup right now. How are you going to the bar? Tell Charlamagne to take his hood off.
I did not go to the barbershop. I took a risk in a mask. He had on like a one of the things that you blowtorch, and I decided just for my birthday, one last risk was gonna get a Britney Spears, who has been on Instagram launching a class war. My comrade. I just thought I was gonna do that, and then I gotta let it grow back out. Don't make me think of people being responsible.
So you got a haircut. You got a haircut during the global pandemic just so you can look fresh on Instagram. Your birthday.
Wow, it is not on Instagram. There's no birthday post on my Instagram. I've been promoting my book. I am trying to spread literacy.
Oh, I do. Michael, listen, I want to have a black person conversation right now, though, because what you said was very interesting.
Okay.
No, seriously.
Uh-oh.
The first person who ever offered me a book deal, it was a shitty number. I don't know. I don't think it was 15. It might have been like 25, something like that, right? And I didn't know any better, right? So
that wasn't the person I was offered, actually.
Okay.
So I didn't know $2,500 for a book deal.
$2,500.
So that was what somebody offered me once for a book deal. I would never take that.
Whoa.
But that's.
Jeez.
Yeah. What the first paperwork I
really
had.
tried to play me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first paperwork I had was $25,000. I didn't know no better until I started telling other people. And then somebody else hit me to the game, and they was like, "Hell no, $25,000." Yeah. And so that's when somebody went and we shopped the book deal around and went to like 4 different publishers, and I ended up getting, a nice 6-figure book deal.
But I think for Michael, he doesn't have a national morning show every single morning. And I think that book publishers look at things like that you have a platform to promote on every single day. So like he was saying to Steve Harvey, to people like celebrities getting book deals, it is a lot more money, right, Michael?
Not really. When you're a first-time author, they just look at you as a first-time author.
Yeah. I think the number that I should have gotten based on conversations I had with other people, it didn't happen. I accepted it. Also, I will say this. A lot of people were interested in me, but they wanted me to write my book a very different way. And I think the way that I wanted to tell my story was very specific. And sometimes there is a consequence with that. And it's that people don't have as much faith in your vision, so you accept this. Right. But to your point, Charlamagne, I definitely talk to Black folks. In fact, I wanted like Samantha Irby, Janet Mock, I'm really good friends with her. They are very honest with me about dollar amounts of what I should be accepting. So when I went into this with the second book, I already had a number in mind, what I would not settle under for, and I got exactly what I felt I deserved and did not allow myself to be played. I still think, to your point, it could have went a different way the first time, but I would say even with that, I'm very grateful in that I knew if I were fortunate to make the list even just a week, when people shop their nonfiction proposals, that makes it easier for them to get better book deals. Because usually in a nonfiction proposal, you have to list other books that are like on the market that might be like yours, but how you're different. So when I first tried to get a book deal, I had people like Helena Andrews, who I love, Ta-Nehisi's first book. I was told at the time to take those books off. This is several years ago. But when I say like Black authors weren't really getting book deals, it was a drop here for a while unless you were really famous. So again, I still feel a way about it, but it's done. I accepted it. But I am glad that people are now getting better deals because of folks like me, because of folks like Darnell Moon, because of Samantha Irby and Janet Moss, because of folks like you. It takes extra work sometimes.
I appreciate you. And the reason I appreciate you is because you're real about the number. And what you said, when you said you talked to Janet Mock and the other woman, it's like,
Samantha Irby.
You have to have these, Samantha Irby, what did you say?
Irby, yeah.
Yeah, Samantha Irby. You have to have these real conversations about numbers. Because niggas lie. So you'll be talking to a nigga and you be like, I got $4 million for my book deal. And you be like, what? So now that's what you expecting. When that's some bullshit. You ain't get no $4 million for no first book deal.
There is literally one nigga in particular who I felt was just trying, it was like a kind of a dick slinging comment, and he was all on my, I was like, nigga, I don't give a fuck. This is not helpful to me. So I know who you're talking about. Usually when you shouldn't look at people as like competition.
Say it.
You should just be, no.
I know who you're talking about, Michael.
I'm learning.
I'm not saying.
I'm learning.
We're not.
No, so, it's just like the record labels, though. Like when you get a deal, when you're an artist and you get a deal and you're unsigned artist, you don't know what you should be getting when they throw that first number at you. And like you said, you have student loans, you have bills that need to be paid. A lot of times artists take that money, and then when they realize after that first album is up, like, damn, I fucked up. I shouldn't have took that deal.
Also, I got a lot of no's for I Can't Date Jesus for a really long time. So it was just kind of it was a make a piece at that point. Like, I need to do it this way. We're going to have to grind out a little bit longer, but
gotcha.
Well, congratulations on this.
I would say thank you.
New York Times bestselling book, I Can't Date Jesus, becoming a series, right? We've seen that's been picked up for a series with Gerard Carmichael.
And
Lee Daniels.
Lee Daniels and 20th Century Fox. I am really excited. TV moves very slow, and I don't want to speak too much, but I'm really excited about that. like I've been wanting to be in TV for a really long time. If you know me, you know I've been up for some on-air stuff, behind-the-scenes stuff. Like it's been a long time coming, so I'm really excited. Yeah.
And you have to
happy that people have been happy for me.
You have to salute guys like Lee Daniels and Gerard Carmichael, because we talk about
absolutely
creating space, right? Like would they have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else would recognize a black gay man other than a black gay man? You know what I mean?
I had really good conversations with the both of them, and in some cases, it's interesting for me because I function as a critic before a lot of this, so I have a long trail record of being critical. I have no problem being honest. So what's been interesting about this process for both books is that I meet folks and I have to tell them like, yo, this is a nice meeting, but I ain't no fake ass bitch. So let me know exactly what I said about you this year for this reason. And then if you need it, I can pull it out right now. And if we good, we good. And if you feel the way about it, I understand. I think most people, respect it. And then if they still want to engage, then but yeah, I had really good conversations with the both of them. Both were really respectful of the book and what I really want to do with it. I was already a huge fan of like Gerard. I love the Carmichael show. And I've actually learned we had a lot in common from the Breakfast Club interviews he did last summer. So like, I'm really excited about this. And I think it's really important, at least for me, to kind of create the person I never saw on TV.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about your rap career?
Congratulations.
Yeah,
what about your rap career, Michael? Can we find some music online, or what's going on with that?
Can
you rap?
A nigga put me in the no, I just want to rap. I just want to rap so bad.
You got some balls?
Tell them the name of your mixtape. Tell them the name of your mixtape.
Does that matter?
Tell them the name of your mixtape, Michael.
Oh, Cognac and Celexa. That's a shout out to Brown, all my elders, and the antidepressant I used to use. It's rough out here, mental health.
That's right.
So I just need somebody to give me a studio time.
You got a dope rap name.
Rap. What? I would think so. I mean, I ain't terrible. I can write. Let's
hear something.
Because Arceneaux sound like Arsenal or arson.
Yeah.
So like you burn shit.
That is one of the many ways people say it. That or Arceneaux if it was like 1990 too.
Let's hear something. You got a couple of bars. I know you got something to stash.
That's a setup, and that's how you be embarrassing people in these viral clips that go on my text messages. Nope.
Come on, young cynic. Let's hear something.
No. Someone actually put me in the studio, give me a beat, and then like 3 weeks, and I'll come back. No, not down. Yeah, don't send me in front of children.
Last thing I wanted to talk about.
She can't hear.
Last thing I wanted to talk about was this was something we discussed with Boosie, right? I don't know if you saw our Boosie interview, but we did talk about people selling pictures of their feet online for those people who have foot fetishes, and that's something you discuss as a way to make money in the book, also.
I can't be in business for that right now. I admit that in the book. The days of the pretty toes, after this pandemic ends, if I can ever go back outside, we're going to work on that. And then if worse come to worse, I'll sell some foot pictures. I support people that do OnlyFans in the book. I support the sex worker. It's rough out here.
Is that really sex work though?
Your feet?
No. It's like a fetish.
It's fetish. Okay, I support sex work. I support people that want to do pornography or whatever they want to call that. I support people how to make their money safely and responsibly. Because people judge folks that do OnlyFans, but I'm like, you like porn.
What's the strangest thing you've done for some change?
Goodness gracious,
Oh, no, I don't know. We ain't never done it yet. I grew up Catholic. You read I Can't Date Jesus. You know I'm too timid.
But not that, but maybe something that, it don't have to be sexual, but what's the strangest thing you've done?
Something. What did he do? Ye knows something.
No, I don't. I'm asking him. We know what you didn't do because we know what you don't like, but.
Oh, okay. Gracious, so, you know what? So I was going to actually come back with a progress report about that, but I don't have any progress. But in my defense, it's because of the pandemic. That's not my fault. Oh, can I say into a PSA? Can y'all stop trying to have sex during the pandemic? It's a new gentrified building across the street, and white men have never paid me any mind. Then all of a sudden, somebody throwing it at me. I was like, that's a setup.
Right.
You trying to give me a corona and take me out before I finally pay off my loans? Nope.
Well, y'all can talk online.
Goodness.
I ain't talking online. That's a setup. If you trying to do something during the pandemic, you're not serious.
You're not trying to get none of that Corona cock? You don't want none of that Corona cock, Michael?
Black.
Goodness gracious.
Did you just assume I was the bottom? That no better.
No,
yeah, he ain't doing.
I ain't say nothing about bottoms.
I know you said Corona cock.
How did we get here? We were talking about this book. How did we get here?
Because Michael still don't suck dick. He don't suck dick, and that's part of the problem. I always felt like that.
Goodness gracious.
For the record, when the pandemic is over, I am going to suck a very nice dick, and I'm going to text you and let you know how it went. In the meanwhile, please buy I Don't Want to Die Poor, so I don't have to do that for money.
I don't want to die poor. Michael Arceneaux, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Love you, Michael.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, bro.